Day one, arriving at the house. This is natural spray foam, isn't it? I mean, there are people who use spray foam for their attics, and you can't get a mortgage on a house now that has got spray foam in your attic. You know, if you put spray foam under your floor, you know, surely in the future that's going to be the same problem for people, isn't it? Not being able to get a mortgage on the property. There's only one job I've ever gone to, but that was a more modern house where there's no gap under the floor. There's no void. Any Victorian or Edwardian house, you can always insulate under the floor. Yeah, you just carry on straight. You know, here you've got access from underneath, but there's a lot of houses where you don't have access from underneath. They've got timber floor with the pipes underneath, and then they put an engineered wood floor above it. And then, okay, what are you going to do if you've got a pipe leak? And generally the pipes may not be insulated, they could freeze and fracture. You've then got to take up all the floor to get in there.
I think definitely the front room.
Yes, the new floor. Without the original floorboards.
No. And that'll just, I'll go back with a zip tie after Paul's done it.
There's a direct link between the work you do and customer benefit. You work in IT, oof, not the same thing. Usually in a house where you're going down through the floor, the access hatch you make in the cupboard under the stairs, because usually the engineered floor has not been put under the stairs. So that's where you can access the original floorboards. So you go down through there, make your access hatch, and get under the floor from there. Here is very easy because there's a ready-made access hatch in the kitchen. Just carry on straight. Cardboard down first, you know, in case there's nails sticking up out of the, you know, the builder's rubber. You see this, you know, some metal cage full of rubble that the builder's just left behind. I won't take this out, you know, I can't, you know, the amount of work to get this out is just phenomenal. And it, you know, as we talked, you know, where they've put the boiler makes it so much more difficult to get to the back of the cellar here. But I think that a lot of this is the current customers, not from before, but current customers couldn't get into the other cellar, so they put all their stuff here. So I will have to, before I take any of this stuff out, we'll have to ask, is it yours? Is it the people before you? See, there's an old step ladder there at the end. Yeah. If I come down in the car and work, and I leave the tools here during the day, So at the end of the day, I've got an empty car, and I live near a recycling place. So, you know, I'll go there first thing. I'll be there at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning to offload a carload, and then the following morning I'll probably be doing exactly the same thing.
It can look a bit scruffy now, but it all puffs up over the next week or so.
You can understand the difference.
Paul's gagging with the fresh air. Yeah. Oh, I feel like the dwarfs coming out of their house. Oh.
This is the latest load of metal coming out. Amazing what you find. Okay, rings and pipes and all sorts of stuff. Oh, there we go. You got a staple gun here with you, don't you?
I do want it.
Oh, you're doing meshing as well, yeah?
Yeah, gonna.
No, it's alright. Have you used all the wool here?
Yeah, all wool's gone.
All wool's done. Paul, have you used all
Yeah,
wool?
all wool.
Used all of them.
I can't do the work with all this rubbish lying on the ground here. There's wood. See this big, like, look at that, Paul, this big, massive iron piece of wood here, piece of ironwork. So we'll pass that over and we'll get that out. Okay. Your wire cutters there, sir?
Yeah, I can pass them over.
Yeah, there's an old light here.
Behind your right shoulder.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, there's some metal, there's a bag there of like metal. Hang on, I'll bring it with me. This is all old metal. More wood. You can see here, we can get in under the stairs here. So although we're insulating under the ground floor flat, by doing this bit, we're actually insulating the other flat. So we're helping their insulation. Because we're no longer under the ground floor flat here. We're under the stairs going up to the first floor flat. But we'll still insulate under here. And then the stairs in there. One good thing about having the bits of wood is you can use them to get all the cobwebs out of the way before you go in there, otherwise you'll end up covered in cobwebs.
A set of stairs, we're trying to figure out how to insulate that without draughts coming through, which means we might have to make a vertical framework to insulate as well as the horizontal framework. But obviously that's really awkward because we're under a floor and it's quite hard to construct something. That's why he's the brave.
Under the other ground floor flat there, yeah.
Kenny, you can see next door.
Well, under that floorboard there is the other ground floor flat.
Oh.
They're probably there listening to us as we speak, yeah, thinking,
Wondering where the people are.
what's this going on? Yeah, what's going on here? But here, you can see here, like you can basically stand up completely. This is walls throughout other ground.
We're when you took on this job?
It's extraordinarily satisfying to do underfloor insulation.
I absolutely hate doing this. Stuart's a real wanker, you know, or something like that.
I get the worst bonuses.
I wish I'd stayed at school a bit longer.
Right.
Screwing. You know, in here, this has been a lot easier job because these main joists are 200mm deep. Generally, they're only 100mm deep. So in that case, you'd have to frame out the whole of the cellar to be able to put your 200mm of insulation in. And 200mm is a lot better than 100mm. Doesn't cost twice as much. Costs more, but not twice as much. Not nearly twice as much. Here, just screw these in. So you basically just have the wool and the mesh above and below. It will be clean when we come out, so customer can, you know, leave their stuff down here without having to get covered in dust when they come down here every time. And then vacuum on the way out. What we'll do here as well is put a trap door below the trap door above, because otherwise there's no point insulating all this when you've got a big gap here where the door fits. So we can put some boarding here, and that will just slide into place. In fact, that's what I'm going to do next. Use the boarding that we already found down here to put there. Definitely ahead of schedule here, yeah. I didn't think we'd get this far ahead today, yeah. It's gone very well. You know, having 3 people is very cost effective. You know, especially if you're removing rubbish, you know, otherwise you have to carry everything out yourself if it was one person. All this over here, Dev, a lot of this where Paul's been working can be meshed as well. Yeah, yeah. So we'll come over here and do that. You learn after a while to bring a small saw rather than a big saw in. Much easier to work with. And we can put that there, which will give us a bit of framing. Have your screwdriver with a magnetic head. Very easy to work. So that will provide our framework. So because we're insulating 200mm and the joist there is only 100mm. So then I'll put 3 of these. So I need to get another one in here. Up to about there. Cut that one. I think we looked at yesterday, then if you're going to put this boiler in here, why put the boiler in the middle of the cellar, which means you can't get to the back of the cellar, just because it's easier for the plumber to do it. Why didn't he put it over here, like 2 meters further this way, and you'd have had much more room in the cellar? So he hasn't really thought that one through very much. My screwing. So I put another and so I'll frame all of that out so it's nice and done. Down so we're not lying in the rubble. But you've got to be careful and make sure you do all these little bits, like behind this joist here, right up. You probably won't see that, but that needs to all be done. And then behind this little brick wall here, this is where it joins up to the next flat, which has an uninsulated exterior wall, which you can see the light through. Yeah, that's not good. So this is insulating the vertical wall that goes into the next flat. So when we came under here, you can see the light through the wall. And so the next flat, basically its external wall is a single sheet plasterboard, no insulation, and there's a hole in the plasterboard. Here we've now put 200 mil of insulation on the cold side of their flat.
Wow.
This is being a good neighbour. I'm here anyway. Yeah.
How often do you find that you can see the light through the floorboards, or you can see gaps through the floorboards?
Always.
Always.
If people have got a timber floor, a bare wood floor, and you go under the floor, you can always see the light through, even if they think they've filled up all the gaps, because you have nail holes and all sorts of things, like where do the pipes go through. You'll always see the light.
Wow.
And that is draft.
So on the list of extra things you do on the job, you've talked a bit about the rubble clearance.
Yeah.
I noticed you've also got all these kind of pipe liners on. Do you do that every time?
Yeah. I couldn't do a job and walk away and think, well, I've insulated it, but they hadn't had their pipes lagged. I mean, if a customer said, well, don't bother doing the pipes, I'd think, yeah, I don't think I'll do your job. Really, it should be done, and it takes very little time to do this. The plumbers should do it.
What's the benefit of?
Well, your heat is not being lost from the pipe. Your heat, when it leaves the boiler, surely you want your heat to go from the boiler to the radiator. You don't want to be heating under your floor. Yeah.
Especially if your underfloor is gappy and losing loads of air.
Yeah, you're just heating the outside, meaning your radiators won't get hot and you'll spend a lot more. But here, you see, we'll insulate all of this wall, but then you look, and this is a conversion, so it's a different flat above. So this is a communal stairway above me here. Do we insulate above the communal stairway? Who pays for that? Surely it should be the house that pays for it, not the people in flat one, ground floor. But anyway, we'll just finish this and then onto the mesh. See, taking out all the reasonable rubbish. You can't really just dig out all the builder's rubble from years. Done the wall in here. Not very good light there. Under the stairs, maybe, if the leaseholders agree. But all this is tidied up. All this can be crawled on now. And all this in here, nice good storage. Hello, Dove.
Hello.
Nice and clean. Yeah.
So this is the finished room. We've got some of the storage back underneath. We've got all the zip tied and it's all taught upstairs.